Hi, I'm Beth Wyko, and I'm the features editor at the Tribune Chronicle. Today I'm going to be making an old family recipe, cherry squares. This is a recipe that's been in my family for 4 generations. I got the recipe from my grandmother, who also gave it to my mother and my aunts and my uncle, and she remembers her mother making it when she was growing up. We start out with 1 cup of butter. There's a lot of butter and eggs in this recipe. This is not health food here. And I've put my butter in the microwave a little bit to soften it up because we're going to be using the mixer here. Okay. And to our butter, we're going to add 1.5 cups of sugar. And we're going to cream those together. One of my favorite parts of baking, because I actually prefer baking to cooking, even though I do like to cook, is just the part where you cream the butter and the sugar together. I always kind of have to sample it a little bit. It's that pure fat and sugar that Americans maybe love too much, but I love it too. So I'm going to clear my beaters out a little bit here. Now we add 4 eggs to this recipe, and we're going to put them in 1 at a time. That's going to thin this out a little bit. So we get egg number 1 in here. Okay, that's looking good. Now we're going to add 2 cups of flour. Now I have celiac disease, which means that I can't eat anything that has wheat, rye, barley, or oats in it. So I have to use special flours. Many celiacs like to kind of experiment with different kinds of flours. There's rice flour, there's potato flour, there's different kind of bean flour. I'm kind of lazy. I use an all-purpose gluten-free baking blend. So this is Bob's Red Mill gluten-free baking mix. And so I'm just going to add that in. Now the part of wheat that celiacs can't have is called gluten, and that is what makes your breads and your dough stick together. So when you're baking for a celiac, you need to add something extra to get that stickiness in the dough. And what I'm using here is xanthan gum. You can get it at a health food store. You'll see it in the ingredients in a lot of things that you eat regularly. But you don't usually find this in your regular grocery store. Sometimes you do. They are carrying a lot more items for people who have celiac disease. But I know you can find it at Cindy's Health and Vitality in Niles. So I'm adding a teaspoon of xanthan gum to add that stickiness to my dough here. And we're also going to add a tablespoon of lemon juice. And we'll mix all this up. And now that we've got our dough together, we're ready to make our cherry squares. Okay, you're going to want to grease a jelly roll pan before we start. Mine also doubles as my cookie sheet. And all you need to do is pour in your dough here. And then you're going to spread it out in your pan here. Now you're going to take a can of pie filling. My family has always used cherry pie filling. I don't remember ever having this with a different kind of fruit, but you can use any kind of pie filling you want. And then what you do is you just take a spoonful and put it in the center of each square. With cherries, it usually ends up being about 3 cherries per square. And you drop those right in the center of those squares you made earlier. This is one of my absolute all-time favorite family recipes. I had my mom make these for me for my birthday one year. Now you're going to stick these in an oven that's been preheated to 350 degrees. And those are going to be in there for between 40 to 50 minutes. Mine are generally done in about 40 minutes, but it all depends on your oven. So check and see. What you're going to want is when they're a nice golden brown on top, that's when you need to take them out. When you pull them out of the oven, what you want to do is take some powdered sugar and sprinkle it on top while the dish is still warm, so you have this nice little powdery filling on top. And I'm going to have one of these because these are one of my favorites, and I hope you'll enjoy them too.